Hi there, everybody. How you doing? This is the Rotundus. Thank you so much for being here. It's another lovely day. I'm going to be talking about gaming news, specifically the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch has a dev kit that stats are leaked. Big time stats. Stats that you'd find on the back of a baseball card. We have some exciting information coming in from fresh off the press. I think it's a NeoGAF user called Robert at Zenzaboid Games. 4 ARM Cortex A57 cores. Now I want to take a look at that meaning exactly, which is 4s. 4 ARM and a Cortex with an A57 core, which means specifically, according to technical engineers, Maxwell's, that the ARM technology, which has been used latestly in NVIDIA's self-driving cars and smaller tablet devices, the ARM Cortex A57 is a lower end of a high-end Spectrum sort of Cortex. 256 CUDA scores, of course, max 1 gigs, 224, 1024 flop cycle. This thing is doing 1024 flops a cycle. Now, I want to just kind of put that in perspective to kind of show people out there who aren't so technical savvy as myself exactly what that means. Take yourself back to the winter time when you used to go sledding down a hill, and imagine you took a big tumble. I think the rate at which you would spin barrel rolls down a soft, frosty hill would not even touch the amount of flops a cycle that the new Switch is doing. That's a 1024 flopper. If we want to go back to the cores, which is 256, well, 256 cores is impactful in a device such as a handheld thing as the Switch, where CUDA scores give each other CUDAs. You know, it's like, CUDA, I love my Luda. But in this case, it's more like center to the core, you have 256 things spinning around it. So think about if the Earth had 256 cores. This would mean that the Earth would be more spin correctly on its axis, vertically, up and down. It would also probably go backwards in time. 256 cores is quite substantially the amount of cores that I think Nintendo's going to need to do to get away with to get third-party support. I think when Nintendo said to their devs and their engineering team when it came time to developing such a device, they were considering a certain aspect of their device that was like, hey, how do we get third parties in there? And a third party or two may have said, look, we're talking cores here. I want a max 1 gigs and I want a 256 spinner. And when it comes down to flopping away, I'd love a 1024 flop cycle. This is how we can get now our super important Assassin's Creed over, where now Nintendo fans can have the chance to play an open world game where you just run to different destinations on a map, looking at the map the entire time, not actually looking at the game world, and check off boxes constantly. Just check them off. Just check those boxes off. Checking them off. Just check those Just check those boxes off. Check them off. Just check those boxes off. Checking them off. Just check those boxes off. Checking them off. Next on our high quality specs list, we have 4 gigs of RAM that has been locked and loaded. Certainly what we're looking for. I think a lot of people out there will say 4 gigs is enough, possibly. I mean, that's the big question on my mind. 4 gigs, is that enough? 4 gigs of RAM is adequate for a system such as this because there's no operating system. What was that? Checking in. Oh, there is an operating system. Good. Let's look at the speed. 25.6 gigabytes a second. It's got a VRAM share. So now no longer do devs have to do tricks in the back end to try to harness as much VRAMable memory availability, where before it would be, say, in one set core and another set core. Now, and then they'd have to do tricks to sort of steal from both of those cores. Now it's a VRAM share, so that the devs can now straight code to both RAMs. 32 gigabytes of storage. Can we just take a look at that for a second? Hey, look, 32 gigabytes a second. 32 gigabytes of storage. I can't load more than one game on there. What am I going to do? I can't store my whole library of games. I can't even install the patch for a Bethesda game. Probably not even be able to play games. I want to say to these people, look, I know what you're saying, but look, I hear what you're saying. And here, listen to me just for a second. Pay attention. Did you know that the Switch is using cartridges? Yeah, it is. It actually is, believe it or not. Cartridges. So that means you're going to stick a cartridge in there and you're going to say, hey, that's my game. Oh, but done this. I like to download my games. That's what I like to do. I'm a modern digital person. I like to save plastic. I don't want the world to go down. I want to have grandkids, and when they grow up, I want them to make sure that they live a super important life here on the earth. I totally get that. So Nintendo's not doing you any favors by charging you 32 gigabytes per minute. Take out a piece of paper and start clocking. Start writing down what you're going to be storing on the Switch. So that way when it shows up at your doorstep, after you primed it and got it pre-ordered, then you'll be ready and you'll have a plan of attack of how you want to start allocating that storage. Skipping over USB, because honestly, who the hell wants to talk about USB? I want to talk about the resolution of this fucking LCD screen, okay? 1280 by 760 and a 6 by 2 inch. Now, when your eyeballs take a look at a screen that's about that size, if you're going to try to tell me you can distinguish the difference between a 1080p experience and a 720p experience, then I would love you to tell it to me in my face. Let's talk about resolution when it's on the big screen. That's a 1080p at a 60 FPS or a 4K to 30 FPS. This is all speculation. I've seen the PS4 Pro suffer at these levels. You're going to sit here and you're going to try to tell me that the Nintendo Switch is better than the PS4 Pro? I doubt it. I don't care who you are, Robert Zaboy. These are games. This is not necessarily going to be the truth. Now, I'd rather get out of you what is actually going on here. Is this a rumor? Is this the real deal? Are we going to be actually seeing 4K through the Switch? Come on. I have heard a lot of stuff recently, but that may be the craziest. Getting on that, I can't even handle it. Capacitance method. That's a 10-point multi-touch. What it means is that for the first time ever, Nintendo is going with a multi-touch input system. Before it was all resistive. It was all little with the little stylus. Now it's not that. Now it's a capitance method. 10-point multi-touch. This is where you're gonna play Fruit Salad and you're gonna get all those Clash of Clans games on there and the free plays, and you're just gonna go into the App Store and you're gonna spend. Aren't we just excited that more things are just turning into the same device? Oh, Nintendo, I thought you were new, I thought you were innovation, but here you are just making another tablet. I really loved you back in the days of the Wii. I loved you back in the days of the Wii U. Oh, but now there's no inspiration anymore. It's just like, what's the fucking thing that's working out there? If you look at your videos these days, oh, did you see that intro release Switch video? That looks like everything else I've ever seen in my life. Get some good looking people on the screen, get some decent video editing going, get some people that just don't look like gamers at all, get some decent video editing going, get some people that just is like, are you really a gamer? And get some decent video editing going, and then, oh god, get a couple people that just together that just look like they're not gamers. But this is what we're doing now. This is it. Nintendo is totally sold out and they're becoming like everybody else, you know?